All right, join me on page 460 of the reading textbook. Our vocabulary for this week: enthralled, embarrassment, substitutes, regulation, grouchy, resemblance, inscribed, capacity. Okay, one of the skills we're looking at: word parts, inflectional endings are added to words to change their form or tense. ED changes it to past tense of a verb. Postmarked equals past tense of postmarked because they added the ED at the end. Okay, an ant's baseball dreams. Follow along. Maybe it's my love of baseball that connects my great Aunt Helen and me. She has always kept me enthralled with her stories of playing baseball back in the 1940s. I would listen to these stories over and over. She used to say, "Go after what you want, Sarah. Don't be ashamed of failing. Real embarrassment comes from never trying." Man, isn't that what we've been talking about all year? Aunt Helen should know. In 1943, she was one of the young women who tried out for the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, created to entertain fans. Women became substitutes because many of America's young men were fighting in World War II. If you remember, they actually made a movie about this story. Aunt Helen had heard rumors that a team would play right in South Bend, Indiana. She dreamed of what it would be like to win a championship for her hometown. She imagined a large pennant hanging at the baseball field, and on this banner, the name Helen Baker would be there for all to see. On the day of the tryouts, Aunt Helen played baseball for hours with many young women. For this new league, some of the rules were different from the rules for regular softball. They still used a standard regulation softball, but the bases and pitcher's mound were placed at longer distances, for example. Okay, turn the page. So that would be one example of how the women's softball league was different, where the placement of the bases. Okay, continuing on page 461. All the rules were explained by a grouchy man in a suit. Aunt Helen said that wearing a suit in the hot sun was what put him in a bad mood. But he had a resemblance to Aunt Helen's father, and if he looked like her father, she thought, he couldn't be bad. About a week later, Aunt Helen collected the mail and found an envelope with her name inscribed in blue ink. The envelope was postmarked from Chicago. The letter was from the leaders of the Girls Baseball League who were located in Chicago. Aunt Helen tore it open and learned that she had been invited to the league's main tryouts. But as the days went by, Aunt Helen became worried about traveling to Chicago alone. What if she went all that way and failed? When the day of the tryouts came, she was too afraid to go. Aunt Helen has spent the rest of her life wondering what would have happened if she had gone to those tryouts. Because of this, she has lived the rest of her life to its full capacity. She learned that every dream is worth chasing, even if you catch only a few of them. Okay, reread for comprehension. Generate questions, making inferences. Sometimes a writer does not tell you everything in a story. When you make inferences, you use clues from the story, plus what you already know, to help you understand what is not directly stated in the story. Use the inferences chart as you reread An Ant's Baseball Dreams, and your inference chart can be found in your Google Classroom. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.